5 days. That's all we have before one of the most dangerous winter storms of the season slams into the heartland. We're talking about a weather event that could paralyze everything from Texas to the Great Lakes, and the clock is already ticking. Right now, as you re-watching this, computer models are screaming the same message. A massive Arctic air mass is diving south, and when it collides with Gulf moisture this Friday, the result could be catastrophic. We're not talking about a dusting of snow. We're looking at ice accumulations that snap power lines like toothpicks, snowfall measured in feet, not inches, and travel that becomes impossible, maybe even deadly. But here's what you need to know in the next 30 seconds, and this is critical. If you live anywhere from Central Texas through Arkansas, Tennessee, or up into the Ohio Valley, the window to prepare is closing fast. Stick with me for just 30 more seconds because I am about to show you exactly which areas face the highest danger, and more importantly, what you can do right now to protect yourself and your family. The European Weather Model, one of the most accurate forecasting tools we have, just updated, and what it's showing is frankly alarming. By Friday morning, January 23rd, this Friday, moisture is already overspreading the plains. But this isn't a rain. The temperatures are diving into the 20s and teens. We're talking about snow, sleet, and freezing rain all at once. Here's where it gets dangerous, and I need you to pay close attention. Central Texas, you're looking at a massive ice storm developing Friday night into Saturday morning. We are not talking about a light glaze. The models are showing freezing rain accumulations that could reach half an inch or more. Do you know what happens when half an inch of ice builds up on tree branches and power lines? They snap. They fall, and when they fall on power lines, you lose electricity. In January, in freezing temperatures, for potentially days. Northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, you're in the same boat. The pink you see on these forecast maps, that is freezing rain. The orange, that's sleet. And both of them are a nightmare for travel, for infrastructure, for everything. 1/4 inch of ice, just 1/4 inch makes roads completely impassable. Walking becomes dangerous. Driving, forget about it. But wait, there's something even more concerning, and this is the twist nobody saw coming until 72 hours ago. This isn't going to be a quick moving storm. Some model runs are showing this winter weather event lasting from Friday all the way through Sunday morning. That's potentially 48 to 60 hours of continuous winter precipitation across the South. When was the last time you saw that kind of duration? Now, Oklahoma and northern Arkansas, your situation is different, but equally dangerous. You're going to start with ice, but as colder air works its way down from the north, that freezing rain transitions to heavy snow. We're talking about snow rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour in some locations. The Texas Panhandle could see 10 to 15 inches of snow. Think about that. 15 inches of snow in an area where most people don't own snow shovels. Missouri, you are not off the hook either. The snow shield extends all the way up into your state. And Tennessee, western Tennessee especially, you are looking at a prolonged winter weather event that starts Friday and doesn't end until sometime Saturday night or Sunday morning. Here's what keeps me up at night about this forecast. And this is the information that's going to be critical at the 5-minute mark, so click away. The computer models are still trying to figure out exactly where the heaviest ice sets up versus the heaviest snow. And that line, that transition zone between ice and snow, that's going to determine whether we are talking about a major inconvenience or a genuine emergency. Let me explain why this matters to you personally. Right now, drop a comment below with your city and state. Seriously, do it right now. I am going to be monitoring these comments, and I can give you a specific forecast for your exact location. Are you in the ice zone, the snow zone, the mixed precipitation zone? This matters because your preparation strategy is completely different depending on which type of precipitation you're going to face. The latest European model run, the 06 Zulu run for you weather geeks out there, it came in this morning, and it's doubling down on the ice storm scenario. Look at Saturday morning on these models. Ice storm corridor stretching from central Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, all the way northeast into the mid-south. We were talking about Little Rock, Memphis, maybe even as far north as Paducah, Kentucky. The GFS model, the American model, it's showing something slightly different, and this is where forecasting gets tricky. The GFS loves to show more sleet, as the little ice pellets that bounce when they hit the ground. The European model leans more toward freezing rain, that S, the stuff that coats everything in a glaze of ice. Which one's right? Honestly, we want to know for sure until about 48 hours before the event. But here's the thing, it doesn't really matter which one you get. Both are dangerous. Both will make travel impossible. Both can knock out power. And speaking of power outages, let's talk about something the weather forecast maps Don T show you, the human impact. When ice storms hit the south, we're not as prepared as northern states. Why? Because it doesn't happen as often. Your local utility company might not have as many repair crews staged and ready. Your neighbors might not have generators. You might not have enough food in the house to last through a 3-day power outage. This is your wake-up call. You have 5 days to prepare, but realistically, you should be doing it today, Monday, right now, because come Thursday, the grocery stores are going to be packed. The hardware stores are going to be sold out of generators, batteries, flashlights. The gas stations might have lines. Now, here's something fascinating about this storm system that most people don't understand. And this is the meteorology geek out section, but I promise it as going to help you understand why this storm is so dangerous. We've got what S called an overrunning event setting up. Stay with me here. You've got Arctic air at the surface, super cold in the 20s. But 5,000 feet up, maybe 10,000 feet up, you've got much warmer air, maybe in the 40s or even 50s. So what happens? Snow forms up high in the clouds where it's cold. That snow falls down through the warm layer and melts into rain. But then, and here's the critical part, that rain keeps falling and it encounters that shallow layer of Arctic air right at the surface. It doesn't have time to refreeze into sleet. Instead, it stays liquid, supercooled liquid until it hits something. Your car, your driveway, a tree branch, a power line, and then instantly, boom, it freezes on contact. That S, freezing rain. And that S, why it's so dangerous. It builds up, layer after layer after layer. And the weight? A half-inch of ice on a power line can add 500 pounds of extra weight to a single span between poles. Think about that. 500 pounds. Something is going to give. But here's the good news, and this is important. You have time. 5 days is actually pretty good lead time for a winter storm. Most ice storms, we only get about 48 to 72 hours notice. You've got 5 days. So let's talk about what you should be doing. First, if you haven't already, charge every electronic device you own. Phones, tablets, laptops, those portable battery banks. Charge them all. If the power goes out, you are going to need those. Second, water. Fill up some containers with drinking water. If you lose power, you might lose water pressure, especially if you were on a well system. You want at least 1 gallon per person per day and plan for 3 days minimum. Third, food. Non-perishable stuff. Things you can eat without cooking if the power is out. Peanut butter, crackers, canned goods, granola bars. Don't forget about your pets either. Fourth, heat. If you have a fireplace, now is the time to stock up on firewood. If you have a generator, test it now. Make sure it runs. Get extra fuel. And please, please never run a generator inside your house or garage. Carbon monoxide kills. Fifth, medications. If you or someone in your family takes daily medications, make sure you have at least a week's supply on hand. Pharmacies might be closed. Roads might be impassable. Now let me show you something that is going to blow your mind. The Climate Prediction Center, the official government long-range forecasting office, they just released their 9 to 10-day outlook. And guess what? It shows cold temperatures and above normal precipitation for the exact same area we are talking about. When the official long-range forecast aligns with the short-term models, when you know something significant is about to happen. But it gets even better. There is something called the MJO, the Madden-Julian Oscillation. Don't worry about what it stands for. Just know this. It's a tropical weather pattern that influences global weather. And right now, we're re-swinging through phases 7 and 8. And historically, phases 7 and 8 in late January favor winter storms across the southern United States. Everything is lining up. Here's the really important part, and this is your reward for making it to the 5-minute mark like I promised. This might not be the only winter storm we see. If we get into MJO Phase 8 or Phase 1 and the forecasts suggest we could see additional winter storm chances into early February. This could be the beginning of a very active pattern. So what does that mean for you? It means don't use up all your supplies on this first storm. It means if you're going to buy a generator, don't wait. It means take this seriously because Mother Nature might just be getting warmed up. or should I say cooled down? Let's talk about some specific cities and what you might expect. And remember, drop your location in the comments and I'll give you a personalized forecast. Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. You are right in the bullseye for a significant ice storm. Friday night into Saturday, expect freezing rain to develop. It could last 12 to 24 hours. Ice accumulations of 1/4 to 1/2 inch are possible, with locally higher amounts. That's enough to guarantee power outages. That's enough to make roads look like skating rinks. And with temperatures in the low 20s, it's not melting anytime soon. Houston, this is interesting. Some model runs bring winter weather as far south as you. Now, I am not saying you are going to see a foot of snow, but freezing rain, sleet, mixed precipitation, it's on the table. This would be a rare event for you folks. Have you ever driven on ice? Most people down there haven't. That's what makes it extra dangerous. Little Rock, Arkansas. You're looking at what could be one of the worst ice storms in recent memory. The models are consistently showing you in the heaviest ice accumulation zone. We are talking about potential ice accumulations over 1/2 inch. Trees will come down, power will go out, and it might stay out for a while because repair crews have to wait for the ice to melt before they can safely work on power lines. Memphis, Tennessee. Similar story. You start with freezing rain Friday night, potentially transitioning to sleet and then snow as colder air filters in Saturday. But that initial ice, that is going to cause the most problems. I've seen ice storms shut down Memphis for days. This has that potential. Nashville, Tennessee, you're a little further north, so you might see more sleet and snow than pure freezing rain. But let your guard down. Even sleet creates treacherous travel conditions. And if you get an inch or two of ice pellets combined with some freezing rain, you're still looking at power outage potential. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. You are in a fascinating position meteorologically. You start with winter weather Friday, probably a mix of sleet and freezing rain, but as colder air crashes in from the north, you transition to all snow Saturday. Some models show you picking up 6 to 10 inches of snow on top of whatever ice you get Friday night. That's a 1-2 punch. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Similar setup to Oklahoma City. Ice first, then snow. The question is, how much of each do you get? That's what we were going to nail down over the next few days. Wichita, Kansas. You are likely to stay cold enough for all snow. The Texas Panhandle might steal some of your moisture, but you could still see a decent snowfall of 4 to 8 inches depending on the track. St. Louis, Missouri. You are on the northern fringe of this system. You'll see winter weather, but it might be more of a snow event for you than an ice event. That is actually good news. Snow is easier to deal with than ice. Now, here's something critical about timing, and this affects everyone. This storm is developing on a Friday heading into a weekend. That means if power goes out Friday night, utility crews might have limited staffing. It means if you need to get somewhere Saturday morning, maybe to check on elderly relatives, the roads are going to be at their worst. It means you can just assume you will deal with it Monday morning because this thing doesn't clear out until Sunday. Friday is also the last workday before the storm. That's your last chance to do anything you can do from home. Need to pick up supplies? Friday morning. Need to fill prescriptions? Friday morning. Need to get cash from the ATM in case credit card systems go down? Friday morning. But honestly, wait until Friday. The smart money does everything by Wednesday, because Thursday, everyone else is going to have the same idea. And Friday morning, you are going to be sitting in traffic with everyone else who waited too long. Let me paint you a picture of what Saturday morning might look like in the impact zone. You wake up, if you slept at all, with ice pinging against your windows all night. You look outside and your world is coated in ice. Every tree branch, every power line, every surface. It's beautiful and terrifying at the same time. You hear a crack, then another. Trees are starting to break under the weight of the ice. You hear a loud pop and your power goes out. The heat stops, the refrigerator goes silent. Your phone is at 60% battery because you forgot to charge it overnight. You try to check the news on your phone, but the cell towers are overwhelmed. Everyone is trying to call, text, check social media at the same time. Your internet is down because your modem has no power. You walk to the window and you see your neighbor's huge oak tree has split in half. One side is leaning on the power lines. You realize this isn't going to be fixed in an hour or two. This is going to be days. That's the scenario we were trying to avoid by preparing now. Because if you prepare now, that scenario looks different. You wake up Saturday morning, your devices are fully charged, you have flashlights and batteries ready. You have food that doesn't need to be cooked, you have water stored up, you have a battery-powered radio so you can get weather updates. You uncomfortable, sure, it's cold without power, but you are safe, you prepared, and you can ride this out. Now let's talk about something nobody likes to think about, but we have to address. Elderly relatives. Do you have parents or grandparents who live alone? Are they prepared? Do they have heat if the power goes out? Do they have food? Do they have their medications? This is the week to have that conversation. This is the week to either bring them supplies or bring them to your house before the storm hits. And pets. I see people forget about their pets every single winter storm. Your dog still needs food. Your cat still needs litter. If you evacuate to a hotel, do they take pets? Better find out now, not Friday night when you were trying to check in. Here's something else to consider. Your car, is it winterized? Do you have at least half a tank of gas? If you get stranded on the highway because traffic is stuck due to ice, your car is your shelter. You need gas to run the heater. But run it continuously. Carbon monoxide can build up even outdoors if snow or ice blocks your exhaust pipe. Run it for 10 minutes every hour to stay warm. Do you have an emergency kit in your car? Blankets, water, snacks, flashlight, first aid kit, phone charger? You should, especially this week. The fascinating thing about winter storms in the South is that they paralyze everything way faster than winter storms up north. Why? Infrastructure. Northern states have entire fleets of snowplows and salt trucks. They reuse to this. Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, they have some equipment, sure, but not enough to handle a major ice storm across the entire state at once. So recovery takes longer, roads stay dangerous longer, power restoration takes longer, and that brings up another point. After the storm passes, the danger doesn't end. Ice on roads can last for days if temperatures stay below freezing. Downed power lines might still be energized. Tree limbs weakened by ice can fall hours or even days after the storm ends. Let your guard down just because the precipitation stopped. We now at the point in the forecast where we need to talk about what happens after this storm. Because as I mentioned earlier, this might not be a one-and-done situation. The pattern is setting up for potentially multiple winter weather events through early February. The MJO, the jet stream configuration, the cold air source in Canada, it's all aligning for an active period. What does that mean practically? It means conserve your supplies. It means if you buy batteries, to use them all on the first storm. It means if you have a generator, to run it 24/7 unless you absolutely have to. You might need it again in 10 days. It also means stay informed. Just watch this video and then forget about the weather for a week. Check forecasts daily. Things can and will change. A storm track that shifts 50 miles north or south can mean the difference between 6 inches of snow and half an inch of ice. That is huge. Now, I promised I'd deliver on the 5-minute mark, and we already passed that now. So here's what I want you to know. The models are in good agreement that a significant winter storm is coming Friday into Saturday. The details, the exact amounts, the exact locations of the worst conditions, those will get refined over the next few days. But the overall threat is real. The time to prepare is now. Comment below with your city and state. I am serious about this. I'll be checking comments and giving personalized forecasts. Are you in Dallas, Little Rock, Memphis, Oklahoma City? Drop a comment right now. The community here is amazing and we help each other out. People in areas that got hit by ice storms last year can share their experiences. People who have generators can share tips. We all in this together. Here is what I'm watching over the next 48 hours. First, does the cold air trend stronger or weaker? If it trends stronger, that pushes the ice zone further south. If it trends weaker, more areas see rain instead of ice. Second, does the storm track shift at all? A track further south means more of Texas and Louisiana get hit hard. A track further north means more of Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky get the worst of it. Third, precipitation amounts. Are we talking about 0.25 inches of ice or 0.75 inches? That difference is massive in terms of impacts. And fourth, duration. Is this a 12-hour event or a 48-hour event? The longer it lasts, the worse the impacts. Every model run gives us new data. Every model run refines the forecast. And I'll be doing videos twice a day leading up to this event. One in the morning, one in the evening. The evening video will have the latest afternoon model runs. The morning video will have the overnight runs. So subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications, because details matter with winter storms. Let me also address something I am seeing in the comments on other weather videos. People saying this is all hype. People saying the meteorologists are crying wolf. Let me be very clear. This is not hype. This is a legitimate, dangerous winter storm threat. Could the forecast change? Absolutely. Could some areas see less impact than currently forecast? Absolutely. But could it also be worse than forecast? Also, yes. We forecast based on the best data we have available at the time. And right now, that data is screaming winter storm. So I'd rather you be overprepared and the storm underperform than you be unprepared and the storm overperform. Think about it this way. What's the worst that happens if you prepare and the storm is a dud? You have extra food in your pantry. You have flashlights with fresh batteries. You have a full tank of gas. Those aren't wasted. You'll use them eventually. But what's the worst that happens if you don't prepare and the storm is as bad as forecast? I don't even want to think about that. So here is your action plan for today. Right now, before you click away from this video. First, check your supplies. Food, water, batteries, medications, pet supplies. Write down what you need. Second, make a plan. If the power goes out, where will you go? Will you stay home or go to a relative's house? Make sure everyone in your family knows the plan. Third, check on vulnerable neighbors and relatives. Make sure they re-prepared. Fourth, winterize your home. If you have exposed pipes, now is the time to insulate them. If you have outdoor faucets, drain them and cover them. Fifth, charge everything. Every device, every battery bank, everything. And finally, stay informed. Check back for updates. The next 72 hours are critical. By Thursday, we'll have a much clearer picture of exactly where the worst impacts will be. But by Thursday, it might be too late to prepare properly. That's why Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those are your preparation days. I want to leave you with this thought. Winter storms are predictable. We know they were coming. We know roughly where they'll hit. We know roughly when they'll arrive. That means they are also preventable in terms of their worst impacts. We can stop the ice from forming. We can stop the power lines from coming down, but we can stop ourselves from being caught unprepared. Every single winter storm, I see the same stories. People stranded on highways because they thought they could make it through. People without power for days because they didn't have supplies ready. People injured trying to clear ice from their driveways because they didn't have the right equipment. These are all preventable. You have the information now. You have the warning now. You have the time now. What you do with that is up to you. But I am begging you, take this seriously. Prepare now. Check back for updates. Drop your location in the comments. Let's get through this together. This winter storm is coming Friday, 5 days from now. The question isn't if it's going to happen. The question is, will you be ready when it does? Comment your location below. Stay safe out there. And I'll see you in the next update tonight.